conclusion of public comment?
Councilman Martin.
Because you said that you would allow 10 people to speak, but I'm only number 7. Is council going back on that word? There's never been a time where council didn't allow a citizen to speak based on who the citizen is.
Historically,
I'm a citizen.
and I'm going to say this for the people, because we need to move forward. He has his time to speak.
Amen.
Now, if we got up, after we make our comments, to come down here, it becomes a circus. Okay? We need to move forward. If this meeting is run by us, it's for the public. You can't have it both ways. Okay? This has never happened before in the history of this city. Mr. O'May spoke about it eloquently at the last council meeting. You're on the agenda and make your comments. You can't get up and be a citizen and be a mayor and a citizen. You can't have it both ways, Brother Norton. That's all I'm saying. I want to say this because I really wanted to hear what the other citizens said, because if you take your time to come, we want you to civically engage in the community. Travell Harp is, Marilyn Sharpley is, okay? We serve the best we can. Mr. Pope is. What I wanted to say, I want you to listen to this closely, and first of all, let me acknowledge this. But take it respectfully. The mayor announced the $200,000 from the Boys and Girls Club. That's a good thing, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. He announced money from Cleveland Foundation. He talked about $500,000. He talked about the action plan, which we are going to deal with. But my concern is this. We need that. But we're in this together. And you guys come up here and say this all the time. We should not be finding this kind of information out, because all of it is sharing information, Mr. Pope, at a public meeting. When we elected officials, we should have known about this weeks ago, months ago. You should have been invited when the dialogue took place. This is the problem. We're in this together. He has, as the mayor, he runs the day-to-day operation of the city. We legislate and appropriate. We got to work together, but we cannot work together if information is not being shared. We shouldn't. It's just as bad as Brewer. We're going to Brewer's town hall meetings, finding out stuff that we should know as a council. Okay? If the information, what happens when people come in the city, they come to the mayor. They don't come to the council. They come to the mayor. If the mayor doesn't share the information with the council, we don't know. But then we'll have to vote on some of it, and it's just not fair. It's not fair. We have too many issues. Too many issues in the city. The potholes, I can go on and on about that. Another thing I wanted to bring up in my brief remarks. 3 years ago, this council, with my pushing and with their help, because you can't do it alone, we had a summer program where we employed our youth, and you were raved about them cutting grass and cutting down weeds, don't like that. $50,000 was not a lot of money, but that was stopped. We've got to look out for our people. These kids can use that money. I worked in a summer program the whole time I was in high school. It helped me to buy my clothes to go to school. Okay? Why would we stop that? The service department can't do it all. Why can't we hire our own kids? They stopped it. Okay? They stopped it. Yeah. The budget. I really think that Travell Harp is sincere about his request. But we don't have reserve money. And we can't spend it all. We've been doing that. If something was to happen, there's nothing there. And one thing about budgets, and hear this closely, they're projections for the most part. We don't know what the citizens are going to bring in. We don't know who's going to move out. We don't know who's going to pay their taxes. They're projections. Even with the state people in here, as good as they are, they can only deal with, all budgets are projected. So if we're not getting the revenue and we spend, we're back in a situation. Now, we were in fiscal emergency for 18 years with the state. We share the blame, but when I looked at it historically, and I analyzed things, there was a breakdown there. 18 years? Now we're back? Something's not right. So we spend more than what we got in, and we only talk about projections here. we're going to be back into the same situation. So we got a $13 million budget and say, well, somebody say you got maybe $1 million more than what you got, and we spend it. It's not the wise thing to do. We need to be frugal. We need to be careful. And if we're okay near the last quarter year, we can do some of those things, but we cannot do that now. The state doesn't want to be in here. They're in here because they looked at the numbers and they said that we're spending more than we're bringing in. And we're not unique. A lot of the I looked at public television this weekend, just was flipping through the stations, and they did a thing on Detroit, fam, bro. 100,000 vacant houses, foreclosed. It's a mess because they spend more than they bring in. Now, we have no new revenue. The red light cameras are not going to get it. The tickets get, and I applaud our police for the traffic tickets, but we don't have any new industry coming in here just bringing money. Go down the street to University Circle. I go down there to Panera's all the time. They're doing economic development. They're bringing business in. They're getting revenue. Unless there's a plan, there must be a plan to bring some revenue in here. We're just going in circles here. And the last thing, Marilyn Sharpie's come up here for the last 2 or 3 times, and we're going to work that out. The bid still could go out. We will handle that. We want the street to be paid, but still there has to be bids. Okay. North Taylor, they're doing that. I mean, South Taylor, they're doing that part. That's a county street. But their street is a city street. We would have to take out of the budget to pay for it, and nobody's opposed to it. But the bids could have been out already, and I've said that.
Yeah,
okay.
On that.
Okay, and come back with the bids. We go with the low bids, and then we'll work with, and it's what Norton talked about. We're aware of this. We've been doing this for a while. We'll allocate you 2 or 3. It's going to talk about maybe 200,000-300,000 maybe to do that street. We're not opposed to it, but let's do the bids, bring the bids in, and we will act on it. It's that simple. But we can't act on it if we don't have the bids. The thing that bothers me about this is, Marilyn talked about this 2 years ago. When they started South Taylor, that should have been included. It should have been included, and we could have kicked in the money already. And instead of us going through this process, they could have done North Taylor and South Taylor. So, analyze things. I'm tired of, it seems like we just can't work together to get anything done. It just seems that way. We want to get something done. I don't come up here to argue back and forth. That's why I try to take the high ground most of the time. But let's get North Taylor fixed. Start sharing information with us. Make us a part of the process. I'm offended to get the information in a public meeting and I'm an elected official. I'm very offended by that. And I'm not going to spend more money than we got coming in. I know that it's a projection, and I know that the people I talk to want to get out of the city. So we better be careful and frugal than to spend the money, and then here we go, we got another $3 or $4 million deficit. And who's going to get the blame? The council and the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilwoman Barbara J. Thomas, thank you for your remarks.
Thank you.
Good evening.